Uh, Actually, the session may not go too long as was planned up to 7 o'clock. It may be too shorter than that. Uh, I would invite participants to be more involving in asking questions relating to this topic and any other connected topic to this 52nd GST Council to make good that time which we'll be having. Uh, I think as many of the participants I am seeing the names whom I also are able to recognize are already well versed in this particular changes and we have discussed couple of points already. But still, when I get into the first one of the measures, if we see, I think this entire gamut of 52nd GST Council is focused to the common man, the common citizen, and in the process also said that ease of doing business. When I heard this word, I always feel what would be there for the taxpayers in their procedural compliances which they are supposed to do. But I was a bit disappointed when I actually saw through there is nothing like a re-examination or re-engineering of the present procedures which are being followed by the taxpayer in the process of compliance. At the same time, I am also seeing probably, I think, taking this changes which has been brought out in the rates essentially, maybe the first stepping stone towards the future rationalization which is likely to come. Probably all of us being a professional who are representing the trade should make a objective list. I'm using the word objective list of certain rationalization wherein it doesn't affect the revenue. At the same time, unnecessary compliance burden the taxpayer, if it can be reduced, can be put across as a representation, especially a pre-budget memorandum through CGPI and other forums, so that it can be taken up and put across to the lawmakers to ensure that the businesses are going smoother, especially with the whatever the certain uncertainties which are being talked about in the world economy and the trade. Now, coming to the first changes which is said to be a trade facilitation, is about the refund, where they are going to say that provisional refund will be allowed. In fact, I was just trying to look into the background papers relating to that and see what actually made them to look at it or relook at it, because this was there in the provisions, it was discussed earlier, already there. Then what is that they are talking about this thing again? What is that they want to bring in changes? In fact, when I looked into various background materials in this context of these changes, I could get that they have made a various data analysis as to what is the quantum of the refunds which are being applied, and out of the so much of the quantum of refund applied, how much are being processed, I mean given on a provisional basis, and how much are being scrutinized fully, and later on the refund is sanctioned. As per the data analysis which has been said to have been made by in the council, they came to know that in majority of the cases, the authorities, the officers are getting really into the scrutiny of the refund application, and they are not sanctioning the refund by giving various reasons, XYZ factors, etc., which is well known to the industry. So I think, then they got into various background historical thing, the recommendations made starting from the second GST Council and subsequently 14 GST Council meeting. And like that, they went in background, and then they found that actually the purpose and intention of the mechanism is not being achieved with the present way of a discretion given to the authorities. So what is the proposed changes which is being made is that It is not going to be a based on discretion of the officer. Rather, they want to make it a system driven. So, in fact, it is understood that all the refund applications are now coming with the risk parameters attached to it based on the taxpayer return filing or various other factors, which is being already, in fact, how much of the past refund amount, how much they have claimed, how much refunds have been sanctioned against the refund claim. Like this data analysis, it was going to make at the background and then classify the refund applicants into high risk, low risk, and medium risk. Based on that, they are going to, allow, the system will allow once the refund is filed and the acknowledgement is given for the refund based on the all the minimum documentations required as per the law is filed. Then, in such cases, within 7 days, the refund is going to be sanctioned on a provisional basis to the extent of 90%. This is what they're trying to say. However, is it in all cases they want to get? They are saying no. Authorities can come out and say, no, this particular taxpayer, there's some investigation going on. This taxpayer is risky. In such a scenario, if the officer doesn't want to process such provisional refund, then he should give a reason in writing saying that in this case it is not being sanctioned, it is going to be sanctioned only on full scrutiny. And again, we may have to still wait and see to what extent that particular decision making by the authorities will be done and to what extent it will be done judiciously is something which we have to wait and see. In fact, the risk parameters which the system is going to derive are presently maybe set on certain factors, based on any cases which is booked against the taxpayer, how much of the refunds they are claiming, how much of the credits being accumulated. Various factors, they may have a inbuilt parameters, and that may not be stagnant all the time. Periodically, based on the newer information, newer factors coming to the knowledge of the government and updated to the GSTN, those factors may, would be changed and revised, and the revised criteria may be added to enable this particular process of this fastened refund procedure. So this is what is said. However, this mechanism of faster refund is not available for four products. One is Arakanut, another is Pan Masala, another is uh, another is tobacco, one more is essential oil with certain classification. No, sir, I am not using any PPT. I am just deliberating without PPT because I didn't see any much of a legal provisions being to be presented and explained on that aspect of it. It is more a discussion is what I felt. And also there is a where somebody has not got their Aadhaar authentication. Even in such cases, this accelerated or the provisional refund will not be eligible. So these are the two aspects which has been issued by virtue of a notification. All these things what I discussed till now is in respect of a zero rated supply for export of goods, export of services, or supply to SEZ. So I think this is for the factors which are already there in the law, where the rule 91 2 is amended and given effect to these particular changes. So this is about the export related refund on a provisional basis. What is one of the mechanism where it was more authority discretion is shifted to a system driven mechanism is what the proposed change. And they said this is going to ease out funds to the businesses. It is going to facilitate the trade. It is reform to ensure ease of doing business is what is being claimed by the government, and also the accordingly the GST Council has made these changes. I'm going to cover one more topic related to similar to this, and then I will ask any questions of the participant on these two topics, and then I'll proceed further. The next one is about inverted duty structure. This particular refund mechanism was there only for zero rated supplies, refunds, accumulated refunds, etc. But here, for the inverted duty structure, there was no such mechanism available in the law. In fact, again, the representations went or said to have gone there and they made a data analysis. Now, everything we are in AI era, data analysis, data becomes a key. So, on analysis of the data, it was found that 38% of the refund applications are in respect of a inverted tax structure. Though it is duty structure, I should not use the word duty, so I'm using the word tax. IDS is a short form generally used. So inverted tax structure is an inverted duty structure in the restaurant regime. Okay. So basically this IDS, they say 38% of the refund applications are under this category, and approximately, uh, you know, 22% of the refund applications, refund amounts before the authorities are in respect of the inverted tax structure. These are statistics which is there with the government. So based on that factors, they found that if such a quantum of a refund is there stuck of the trade with the government, I think we should facilitate them also to get the benefit of this inverted tax structure. So again, accordingly, all these recommendations are made, and there's a proposal. There's a proposal for amendment to section 56, 54(6) in this context with certain wordings, and also the amendment in Rule 91 also in this context. So now the question is, though, I mean, these amendments are going to be affected only after the, through enactments, and it's going to take a lot of time. Whether till then these benefits can it be availed or it will be facilitated was a question. So whatever the press release which has come, it has, I'll read out that particular portion of the press release where it says it has been decided by the central government that pending requisite amendments in the GST Act 2017, instructions shall be issued by the CB, Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs, to direct central tax field formation for grant of provisional refund equivalent to 90% of the amount claimed as a refund arising out of inverted duty structure on the basis of identification, evaluation of risk by the system, as in the case of provisional refund on account of zero date supply. This shall operate from 1st November 2025. So basically what I am seeing here is this is meant to be an instruction by the CBIC to the central tax officer. What happens to the cases where if any refund applications are made with the state authorities? Are they also going to follow this or not follow this? I have my own doubts, because unless the states adapt any circular or instruction given by the center, that will not be followed. So maybe this becomes a, only the taxpayers who are in the central tax jurisdiction will be enjoying this benefit, whereas at the same time, these taxpayers at the state jurisdiction may still have to undergo the process which is presently being followed till the statutory enactment happens. So this is what is my observation on this particular aspect of the changes. So any questions on this, either put up on chat box or any, even they can unmute and ask a question, I believe. Anybody? Okay. So if no questions, I'm not sure whether I am clear or whether the
Rajesh sir, we have not received, Hanish here, we
yeah,
have
yeah,
not
Harish.
received any questions in the chat box as of now. So
Yeah, it's
maybe
all
if there are any, I will take those questions, sir.
no problem, no problem, no problem. Okay. Yeah. See, the next aspect which I want to talk about is again relating to refund. Again, this is set to be for a smaller exporters where there was a restriction of any export on payment of IGST, where the amount of refund was less than 1,000 rupees, the refund will not be sanctioned. These are provisions in the law. So now again, I was just looking into the background material in this context. They have made a analysis of the what is the quantum, what is the number of applications in the year 23, 24, 25, and essentially they are saying that many of these small courier exporter, postal mode exporters, they are supposed to file each consignment by shipping bill. So consequently, the refund also has to be claimed through this automatic process only on the shipping bill basis, wherein the each consignment will be a value of less than the refund amount will be less than 1,000. But cumulatively, it will impact the small exporters who are exporting through these modes. Is the observation which has been made. And as per the data analysis which they have made, they found that around the 1.5 lakh shipping bills was having a value less than 1,000, and the amount is around 4 crore rupees in both the years, averaging out around 270 to 270 rupees per shipping bill. This is what is the data which they have compiled. As per that particular compilation, they said that I think for the government, it may not be a huge amount. For a bigger taxpayer, it may look very, what is this petty things? It may be a small amendment. But for a small businessman, especially tier 2 cities, tier 3 cities who are SMEs, so there it is felt that, this will facilitate them in their business to whatever extent. Accordingly, the particular restriction which is there is proposed to be removed. And this is what has the another change of a trade facilitation. It may not impact major, bigger players, but yes, as I said, this 52nd GST Council meeting is mainly focused on the smaller and the common man perspective. I think yes, this is going to facilitate them surely. Is the another move which they have made. Uh, the next aspect is about the registration schemes. Uh, in fact, I think practically when we deal with a lot of clients when they come to us, we find, sir, it is very, very difficult to take a GST registration. This is what is the complaint. Either they have been harassed to give a registration or whatever the problems they face. So on the one hand, the genuine taxpayers are facing difficulty to get a registration, whereas on the other hand, all these fraudulent people who want to pass on the wrong credit, they will create a documentation so perfectly that it doesn't get questioned and pass through uh, smoothly, with also maybe other various means, and they get a registration faster and get into the habit of various frivolous activities. So I think this is always a conflict before the government. How to resolve both these issues? We need to address both. If we liberalize the registration process, people will try to take undue advantage. If we control genuine people who want to take a registration will not get a registration. So I think on reading of this various background tools, I found that there is a two separate aspects which they are talking to my analysis. One is, risk-based uh, assessment of applications and granting of a registration based on risk assessment. Second is the smaller businessman registration with some sort of a scheme. We are still not having a complete details of it, which is yet to be released. But as far as this risk-based mechanism is concerned, based on the background, based on the probably their PAN card or whatever the behind the scene working which the government with this data analysis is going to make, they're going to assess various risk parameters and analyze the data which is submitted for the registration. They may find that this particular person is low risk, and so then they may give a registration within 3 working days from the date of submission of the application. That is what is being spoken about. This is for the risk-based determination and granting of a registration. This other thing uh, which is to spoken about is a optional simplified registration scheme, wherein they are going to they're talking about if a monthly tax payment is less than 2.5 lakh, then based on self-assessment basis, then they will be given a faster registration under this particular, I mean, within a 3 working days. Looking at the way this is being designed, and also it is said, uh, there is a mechanism which will be there. You are given an option to get out of the scheme and based on the risk score and get into the normal course of registration. So I was wondering, I think, is it like a composition scheme? Like how we have a composition scheme for a tax payment, probably this is a composition scheme for registration, wherein the registration, if until unless you are small, until unless you are well within the parameters which is fixed, the 2.5 lakh which they are presently telling, they're saying after few months of operating it, they will look into it and they want to revise this limit to higher or lower depending upon how the scheme runs. So based on that particular things, if you are still within the parameters of it, how in a composition scheme, once you cross a turnover, you will get out of the composition and become a regular scheme. Here also, if you are crossing that parameters, they may push you from they you may have to go out of the scheme and get into the normal scheme. I am foreseeing something more under this particular methodology. What I am seeing is probably if we see as a taxpayer base, I think probably majority of them may fall under this particular category. If this scheme, this parameter works properly, the methodology of assessment, the scrutiny, the audit periodicity, the type of compliance is required, I think can also is being looked into for a liberalization towards those type of taxpayers, because ABC analysis, being a chartered accountants, many of us will be knowing that focus on A category rather than C category, who are requires more time and effort requirements. Similarly, I think this mechanism probably is driven towards such factor of creating a separate taxpayers database who are small and medium and who are beyond that, so that the also attached with the risk parameters are the earlier when the GST, I mean, initially in the introduction GST, we were talking about taxpayer rating. So they are trying to bring it in a little different manner and try to see whether they will be given that scheme and incidental correlatable benefits, whatever they may be, we may be looking into. So I think under this simplified procedure, they are going to give a faster registration within 3 working days. But I am seeing much bigger picture with this mechanism if it is implemented successfully. So another thing related to registration is for the e-commerce operators, where they are saying that I mean, I will be operating in various states. So presently, I may need to have a separate place of registration in each of the place. Whether there can be a mechanism which can be brought in, so that I sit in Bangalore alone, but I can be able to operate in different states by storing goods, various other ways of my business. So they are talking about creating a framework for facilitating such trades and rationalize that particular businesses and make it easier for the e-commerce operator and the registration scheme for them. So I think these two, one is small and low business risk based registration, and the e-commerce registration is for a simplified registration is what they have spoken in the press note, and also the background papers which I got, I could able to go through that and try to see on that. So I think this is about the registration factor. Though these are simple procedural aspects, I think will have many repercussions on the business front who is looking to come up new businesses or to grow or to facilitate their trade. Then I think again I didn't see any questions in the chat box. So I move on to the next next one, that is one of the major law changes which you know it is not really a procedural reforms, I can say, but a trade facilitation obviously, which is your place of supply relating to intermediary. I think this is one of the topics which was always pain for the services exporters, because at least to my knowledge 80% of the taxpayers refund applications are stuck or have gone into litigation or have been questioned or have gone to and fro or stuck at the presently at a tribunal stage for decision making on a simple factor that whether their services constitutes an intermediary or not. In fact, the circular which was issued in that context, they wanted to clarify, but again, they have interpreting a circular in to the benefit of the department as per their conveniences. So this has resulted a lot of businesses getting affected, especially the export of services. And in the litigation front, when we look at it, these matters has to go before the principal bench of GSTAT, so situated at New Delhi, because it involves a place of supply. So it is going to be a lot of burden also on the GSTAT in the days to come. But however, the first question which came up to my mind was this particular amendment which is being made or not made, which is proposed to be made, is it going to be prospective or can I also interpret retrospectively? So again, I was seeing the background papers on that matter. In fact, the that particular discussion paper specifically says by amending this particular thing, it is not going to affect the past cases. It is very, very clearly mentioned in that particular background paper if it is omitted. But anyhow, I think there's going to be still many people can take an argument that this can be applied retrospectively, blah blah blah, which is very difficult in my personal opinion. And so thereby consequently the circular 159 to that extent may become on the one hand of it, looking at from the perspective of law, looking from the other perspective, I think if I take into the statistics of the refund claims, I can roughly say more than 40% of the refund applications are export of services for accumulated refund. And out of that, at least 70% there is a dispute on this very point only. So that being the case, I think resolving this will make their application, I mean their refund ease, and they're going to get refunds faster. Second thing which I could see is various agency services which are actually being present, who are promoting, marketing the business for the foreign suppliers and manufacturers in India. There were actually lot of issues in the agreement. There was a conflict between the there was a conflict between the documents and the agreements, various things. So in order to, with this particular changes, I expect all those issues are going to get resolved. So this amendment, in my opinion, is going to reduce litigation substantially in a software services sector. Having said that, okay, looking at from a professional perspective, are we going to lose out of business? Maybe I can't say no, but to what extent we have to still assess. Still, they need our assistance in doing all these other processes and procedure. So I think this amendment is going to have a various beneficial impact on the trade and businesses who are into B2B, especially export of services. This is what is my take on this amendment. Any questions on this? And obviously, the counterpart of that is a import of service, which I'll talk little later. But any questions on this, I would like to take at this point in time. No questions.
Nothing,
Okay.
sir. No questions.
Right. Okay. The counter effect of this particular amendment is, I heard in many places that now that we need to look into import of services aspect. If somebody is promoting you or marketing your goods or services outside the India, or who are acting as an intermediary outside India. But I will look at it into two aspects. Irrespective of this amendment, in the past, we have experienced that whenever audit comes, they don't even look into this aspect of intermediary or not. They only look at whether you have paid any expenditure in foreign currency, and that entire foreign currency is liable to tax in a reverse charge mechanism. And we have seen out of such, against such demands, even without looking into this intermediary aspect, 70 to 80% of the taxpayers agreed and paid the tax in a reverse charge mechanism to the audit points. Second, again, even if that liability comes up, most of the businesses are eligible to take a input tax credit. Only in few cases they may not be eligible to take a input tax credit. So it may not have a business repercussion on this aspect, is what my analysis of this particular changes on the amendment to that intermediary process. So this is about that intermediary. Now, the next change which they're talking about in the law is about the amendment in section 15 as well as section 34. Uh, the conditions in section 15(3)(b)(1), which is there, that there should be a clause in agreement. I mean, the discount given, suppose sales discount should be linked to the agreement, the time of supply, all those things, and also linking the invoice and the basis of giving a discount. All those things is always a conflict which existed between the taxpayer in the audit. I think if I see 10 audit notes which comes up, I think at least in 7 audit observations, this discount factor is a must. That is what has become a practice. So with this changes, I think again there will be relaxations I am seeing over there. Now, analyzing this, the again, this is going to be through an amendment in the statutory provision of the Act. so it will take some time. Uh, I have a couple of observations on this amendment. One, it is delinking the existence of condition of a discount at the time of supply. So even post facto discounts, if you can give to the customer and the customer can reverse the ITC, you can claim the discount, the value gets reduced, and consequently you can issue a credit note. Even 34 is proposed to be amended where they want to give reference to 15.3b without this condition of linking to the original contract and etc. of the supply. Now, I have a question in my mind. Does that mean all post supply discount, that is a secondary discount or whatever you call, is it essential to comply with 34, or all post sale discount, if 34 compliance is done, it becomes, GST credit note. If your 34 compliance is not done, it becomes a commercial credit note. So overall reading, it is 15.3b is linked to 34, 34 is linked to 15.3b. So it is becoming like a circular reference in a Excel, which we say. I think that is what I'm saying, but they're saying subject to conditions, procedures as will be notified, prescribed. So we have to look at the conditions and procedure, which is linked to basically the procedural aspect of your invoice management system and the credit note coming in, all those things. What I want to emphasize here again is I have supplied a goods. Subsequently, I decide to give a discount. I give a discount, and the customer and effectively he reverses the credit if he has taken a credit, and I issue a credit note. So I adjust my GST paid on the original supply. One of the major challenges which used to be there is that, for the time limit factor is there, is especially for a professionals like us. If the client doesn't pay full value, he asks for a discount. Since we are telling that the we cannot issue credit note because the conditions of 34 is not fulfilled. But with this amendment, I think there is a possibility that irrespective of original thing, the if the client is not paying the full amount, and especially if it's a B2C where there is no reversal of ITC, I think the issue the we can issue a credit note and adjust that particular extra tax paid, is a one legal aspect of it. I'm seeing a misuse of this. I think why this particular conditions was there and why 34 probably was not allowing other than this particular factor is to avoid any mischief by the businessmen, especially service sector, wherein that they can, cancel the invoice, take the amount in cash. So I think with this liberalization, one of the checks which may have to be put it is how will, to what extent such discounts will be carried out, whether it's going to replace the invoices with the credit note for whatever reason, whether it can be only a discount or the invoice itself being discounted fully. All those factors can come into picture is what I am seeing. And again, this issue may crop up on that. So two aspects I'm seeing. One, the bad debts vis-a-vis a credit note. Another factor is about when GST credit note, when financial credit note. I think these two factors we need to be cautious in the forthcoming amendment, which is there. And also they're saying that the circular 2126, which provided the conditions to be fulfilled by the recipient factor, that circular is proposed to be withdrawn or rescinded. So I think this is about section 15 and 34 amendments is proposed, and it is going to be effected only after the amendment in the law. So any questions? No questions.
No, sir. No, sir.
Anish, you also don't have any question?
I have lot of questions on that circular relating to discounts, sir.
Okay, you will answer, you will ask that at the end or now?
Maybe at the end I'll take it up, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm?
Okay, no
Okay, sir.
problem. The next is about that post-sale discount. Uh, I think three aspects are clarified in that circular. I think many of our professionals who are participating here would have already threadbare analyzed that particular circular. One is non-reversal of ITC, which is through a post sale discount through a financial or commercial credit note. I think that is what is the first aspect. I think everybody will be happy that, and many of the cases, this particular, notices were issued, audit observations were issued, and many of them even have paid up the amounts in this regard. The people would have paid up. Can they go ahead and seek a refund if the amount is substantial? It is left to them. If it is paid out of their pocket, especially the interest factor, etc., can be, because there's not an amendment in the law. It's only a clarification given through circular. Obviously, it can be applied retrospectively. In any of the audit observations, it was paid and closed. The issue was closed. Whether it can be reopened is something which you can look at and claim a refund of the same can be looked into. This is on the first aspect of ITC on a financial credit note, whether it requires a reversal or not. The next aspect is about where there is a post-sale discount provided by the manufacturer to the dealer. So though the circular talks about manufacturer dealer, I think the rationale can be applied even for the wholesaler to the further dealer, or a main stockist to the sub stockist, or anybody in the same chain. It is not necessary that it should be only from the manufacturer and a dealer alone. It can that can be taken to the next levels in the same uh, pattern as well. Just seeing the circular. Yeah. Okay. The next aspect of is about that when they say whether such discounts given can it be treated as a consideration. Think there they have clarified that it is not a consideration. Uh, but however, they say if there is a specific, contract between the manufacturer and the ultimate customer, and the dealer gives that particular discount on behalf of the manufacturer to the ultimate customer, then in such scenario, that additional amount received is an additional consideration. I was unable to understand it completely. I think probably Hanish will have various questions at that time. We will discuss about that in detail. So I think this is a aspect which they are saying that on the first part, they said there is no agreement, so hence it is not taxable, etc. But when it comes to, they also put a rider saying that in such a scenario, in certain scenarios, it will be. The third aspect, which is said is in lieu of a promotional activities, etc., performed by the dealer, will it be treated as a consideration? So various, I can say various incentives. One was a discount and there's a incentive. As for the discount, I can take an example of the customer further sales. Whatever the sales happens, the dealer gives 10,000 per motor per vehicle discount. and the 10,000 is given back as incentive, discount, or whatever name by the manufacturer to the dealer. Whether it was treated as additional consideration, they said no, unless there was an agreement between the manufacturer and the ultimate customer to give that. So this is where the first second part. Third part talks about you are doing some marketing campaign, and since you're doing a marketing campaign to facilitate, I can say it's like in the nature of a subsidy or a facilitation fee or whatever the nomenclature they give, it is given by the manufacturer to the dealer. So in such a scenario, whether that should be treated as a consideration by received by the dealer from the manufacturer was a question. They said no. Once the sale has happened, the goods belongs to the respective dealers. If they are doing a promotion, they are doing it for themselves. Hence, it is not a consideration, not liable for tax. At the same time, again, there also they say, however, if there's a specific agreement or a contract between the manufacturer and the dealer to carry out that any such campaign or a promotional activity, and a specific consideration is fixed for the same in the agreement, then it will be treated as a consideration. So who is going to bring out all this on record? I think the department has to bring out the same and try to establish there exists an agreement, and there's an agreement which talks about this specific transaction between them, and that is a trader's supply. So there, still to that extent there can be a litigation is going to go on. So this is what on the circular which has been issued post sale discount by virtue of circular 251. I think I know that there may be some questions on this at least, though not till other topics which I covered. Any questions on this?
Sir, so Hanish here, sir.
Yeah, Anish.
One
Hello.
question which I have is with respect to this price support discount, which we popularly call it as a, which is part of one of the questions in the circular.
Yeah.
Now, the point there is if the manufacturer, based on the agreement with the customer, requests the distributor to pass on any discount,
Hmm.
then that will be treated as a consideration received by the distributor for sale made by him to the end customer, is the effect of the entire circular. Now,
Yes.
if it is a B2B customer, that is manufacturer is entering into a agreement with a B2B customer where the customer is entitled to claim the credit. Assuming customer pays 90,000 rupees and manufacturer is paying 10,000 rupees, I as a distributor will have to raise an invoice of 1 lakh rupees and I will have to charge GST of 18% on that. Now, how will this entire invoicing work? Because I have to raise 1 lakh rupees. In the manufacturer's book, he will have to pay me 10,000, but he will not have any invoice because I cannot raise two invoice for a single supply. And as
Okay.
far as the recipient is concerned, he is paying me GST on 18%, though he might pay 90,000 only, but he will end up paying 18% GST on 1 lakh rupees. So will he be entitled to claim input tax credit on that? Meaning, how will this entire channel work?
Okay. This particular thing question was there even the first circular which came in, which they withdrew also. What on
Correct.
five? Okay. Before getting into answer to your question, Anish, I want to read the exact wordings of that particular
Yeah.
para 3 in that answer to question number 2. Okay.
Okay.
Shall I read it for the
Yes, sir.
benefit of all? Where it
Yes, sir.
says, however, in cases where the manufacturer has some agreement with the end customer to supply goods at discounted price. There I am stopping because this point number 3 is in clear conflict with point number 2. I mean, para 2 in that same clarification. Where it says once the goods is sold, it becomes a property of the buyer, that is the dealer. So once it has become a property of a dealer, how can there be an agreement between the manufacturer and the ultimate customer to give a discount? So I am clearly not in, not able to get that. So it may be a advertisement given by the manufacturer, but will there
Correct.
be advertisement given by a manufacturer can be equated to agreement by the manufacturer to the customer?
Mm-hmm.
So there itself, I am falling short of understanding that what this particular paragraph is trying to say.
Right.
Okay. Assuming what you're saying, that price support, okay, price drop or whatever it is, there they say no, 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 I am going to sell, and the manufacturer gives some coupon or any such thing, and they bring you out that coupon and gives me. So there's an agreement between the manufacturer and the ultimate customer, and he brings in and I give the discount.
Right.
So then that is an additional consideration, because on the coupon, against that coupon, I'm going to collect the money from the manufacturer
Right.
or whatever that particular thing. Okay. So in such a scenario, obviously, in my opinion, the extent of the discount given, I am going to raise a separate invoice to the manufacturer, whereas the amount paid by the customer, I'm going to raise an invoice. Or in the invoice itself, I'm going to mention, I can't mention both names, obviously. There's no provision for it. So I have to raise, but again, what is the rate of tax will become a question. It's the rate
Hmm.
of tax of the goods which you are selling, not the separate service which is being presently done in
Correct.
the audit observations.
Correct.
So this is what is my take on it. Again, there is no confirmed clarity how it has to be done. They want only tax to be paid. How it has to be paid, procedural aspect of it is not addressed in the circular. We have to improvise the existing procedure which we follow to address this situation in the way which I
Hmm.
told probably.
Hmm.
Okay.
Sure,
Because
sir.
then they have not received the goods, they will not be entitled to take a credit, manufacturer.
Hmm.
So I think this is going to be a challenge.
Sure, sir.
I think, did I address your question?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So any other questions on this circular?
No, that's all, sir. From my end, anything else, if I
The
get it,
third
I'll.
point also, I would like to read that second portion. Again, it is like, I feel it funny. How a GST would be leviable in cases where the dealer undertakes specific sales promotion activities such as advertising campaigns, co-branding, customization services, special sales drives, exhibition arrangements, or customer support, etc. But what is catching point here is only when such services are explicitly stated in the agreement with a clearly defined consideration payable for such supply. It cannot be deemed, it cannot be assumed, it cannot be linked. So generic thing cannot be there. But however, this automobile sector, they say you do a certain sales, you will get this much percentage. I think that they're saying is not linked. There should be specific one-to-one correlation is what I'm seeing here. I think that's all from my side on this aspect. The last facilitation, rather than facilitation thing, it is only a change in the law relating to tobacco and all those things. They've said it is going to be retail sale price valuation, RSP based valuation, and one more, and they're going to make rules changes accordingly. Majority of us we are not involved in this goods. I think doesn't require most deliberation on that aspect is what I think. So these are all the so-called trade facilitation measures which was told in the press meet in the GSC Council. This was what the agenda which I got from the TGPI. Hopefully, I've covered all the aspects therein. If anything which I missed out, you can point out. I can try to address that. Uh, I know the time was given us 2 hours. I was able to complete within 1 hour. So allowing all of you to go and celebrate Navaratri. Yeah. Any other questions or comments or add to whatever I mentioned? Yeah, Tarunji, please tell me,
Sajin,
sir.
namaskar. After long, sir,
Yes,
I'm
sir.
listening to you
Yes,
from
sir.
Bhubaneswar, sir.
Yeah, fine, sir. Please tell me, sir.
Ajay, sir, regarding the earlier issue, but major issue is regarding this discount and this again and again circular is coming. The clear understanding as an accountant how the entire commercial transaction is going on and thinking about the revenue neutrality, there is no escaping or thing. But all these circulars are making entire thing in a very difficult situation, including this new one. So
Sir,
क्या
Yeah,
करें?
complete sir, I tell that.
So the point is whether holistically forgetting all this circular, we will simply understand our commercial things and go ahead with the litigation, or we'll start making them understanding what should be written in the circular, what should not be, what is meaning of this, what is not meaning of this, and go on clarifying the circular again and again and trapping our own commercial sense into bias so that you only in the trouble in the long run. I'm still
Well,
having a very open question.
yeah, I would also like to answer it openly. Whatever said and done, majority of us know this circular or the earlier circular is influenced to get a relief to the automobile sector. Agree, not agree, this is what is my personal opinion. I am not influencing anybody.
Agree, sir.
Okay, it is decided to give relief. Wordings are put later. First relief, wordings later, reasons later to support that particular decision making of giving a relief. So, looking that perspective, they want to give you a relief that it is not taxable. You shouldn't be given a credit. So, that is the ultimatum underlying factor. Considering your business should not get affected. So, this is what was our claim. This is what was reason. We know this is the answer, but we are not able to explain so clearly. They've given an answer, say that follow this. It is like, deemed section. Follow the deemed section. Don't get into a question whether it is, bird or not bird. It is deemed to be a bird. That's all. Follow that it is a bird. So like that, this circular, they have not made an amendment to law. They have made a circular affecting the earlier. In fact,
Yeah.
you will get a probably sometime after some time, the what I can say, the agenda for the council meeting will be published in a due course of time, where you will get to know that the discussions of the earlier circulars and all will be there. So, which you can always use in your litigation to say this is retrospective. The objective was to clarify. It will help for all your past cases, and I am hoping that future majority of the cases are going to get resolved based on this. Pending litigation, audit. I am telling sir, in this council meeting, there has been a lot of small changes which facilitate the trades, and audit points are going to come down. I'm looking from that perspective. See, because if you open up any audit reports today, you will find commonly 2A, 3B, non-reversal of credit for, reversal against the credit notes, the discount factor. So if it's the export of such intermediary, so I think all these standard ticket points are trying to be addressed. I think couple of more such type of meetings will bring down the all this unnecessary procedural hassles in the departmental interaction. This is what is my take on it.
So, sir, we are hoping 70% of the disputes, whatever happened, it will tribunal and new will not come on this. And what will be the future of litigation, sir?
Sir, get into some other area. So, okay, good. Any other questions? I think nothing in chat box. At least somebody wants to raise a hand and ask questions. They are welcome. If otherwise, Anish, if no
Uh,
questions, over to you.
yeah, yes, sir. I don't think we have any questions. So I think all of us have understood all the procedural aspects. Maybe, if there would have been some notifications or amendments to the rules, especially on these small registrations or registrations relating to e-com, that would have helped us for this session. But since those have not
Maybe
been
we are
issued till
early
date,
in early bird in that aspect, trying to analyze before the circulars and notification.
correct. Yeah.
We will
So
have this program again. That time will be a much more detailed discussion on that. That's all.
correct, correct, sir. True. Also, I think that inverted duty structure amendments are still not in place, so we will have to wait for those as well and see
But
what
what
would
is
be.
your take on my observation that they have given instruction only to central tax officer, but not to state tax officer? I think
Correct, sir.
anything on that aspect, anybody wants to comment?
No, I agree with you, sir. They have, I think, maybe in due course it will be pointed out to the state officers, and then maybe they will follow. I am not sure. But currently, we are facing a lot of issues in department also where they say this is a central circular, we don't have a corresponding circular in few other cases also, or instructions as well.
Yeah.
So
Taranji has
that
raised
is,
his hands.
Sir, I just because you raised that state and center.
Hmm.
So now we are in Odisha. So now GST also governed by both double engine. So
So double engine sarkar, so then both sides will be the same. Whereas in ours is the two separate engines. So one
हमारा
towards
आधा
east,
इंजन भी
one
नहीं चल
towards
रहा है.
west. So we are having a difficulty, sir.
इंजन भी नहीं चल रहा है, रोड्स में भी पॉट होल्स है, तो वी आर इन स्टैंड स्टिल.
Okay, good. Okay, Anish.
Great, sir. So thank you so much, sir, for this. I will just check if there is somebody for formal vote of thanks. Just give me a second, sir. I think I'll only propose the vote of thanks. Thank you very much,
Mhm.
sir, for taking us through the procedural aspects. Though the provisions were not there, but still you were able to provide at least from the press release finer points on various aspects, including the circular and discount. Uh, this concludes our entire series on whatever sector-wise changes were announced in the GST reform 2.0. Thank you very much for that. I thank all the participants as well to listen to all the sessions in a patient manner. Thank you very much, everyone, and thanks a lot, Rajesh sir, again. I will see you
Thank you, one
again
and
in
all.
another ice cream parlor with 5%
Yeah, yeah,
GST.
yeah.
We can
Evening
afford
we
a
can meet.
expensive one.
Okay.
Right, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks.
Uh,